Don't let the outside fool you. It's actually what's going on inside the magazine. And we're gonna check it out in this episode of Airsoftology Reviews. So I came to the ICS factory because I had to show you guys what was going on with this firsthand. I was at IWA, the big shooting show, outdoor show in Nuremberg, Germany, and I walked past the ICS booth and I saw them doing a demo and I was like, okay, this is pretty neat stuff. It was probably one of the most eye-catching things of the show. So rather than put it in the show video, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna come visit. I'm gonna go show you guys everything firsthand. So we're gonna talk about what's going on in this pistol, which is actually the alpha version. It's one of their new ones, this one's in Cryptek, but it's also gonna be a running change in some of their existing pistols, as well as a internal improvement in their new ones. All right, so it is called the REVO System, REVO, short for revolution. And what it is a combination of the fill valve and release valve in the magazine. The pistol itself is the same. I'm just having this for demos for you guys. I'll actually be demoing a different pistol, which I have tucked away right now. But I wanted to show you this one since at the time of this filming, this is their new alpha with the Cryptek special edition. They have the white. I don't know if you guys can actually see the Cryptek on it. It might just be camera there, but it's also got the cool pattern and a black one. But it's not about that. It's about the magazine and what's going on here. So inside of every magazine in Airsoft, when you have a green gas magazine, you have two major components. Well, essentially it's a big empty canister. You've got this little rubber piece that lets the seal match up to the gun inside. You got where you put the BBs, but you've got the release valve, which the hammer hits and lets out a little gas, and that's how each shot, when you pull the trigger, hammer strikes this part right here, boop, little gas comes out, and then you fill it up here, which you guys are probably very familiar with. You'll have it through the hole, or I'll kind of slide this thing off for you to show you on the inside. That little brass colored thing right inside, that's where the gas valve goes. You fill this thing up, and you put gas in your magazine. Well, traditional guns, you've had an issue, right? You've either had to prime your mag by kind of filling and releasing to try to help mitigate this problem. But normally, you have this empty cavern in here. It's airtight, but it's empty. This thing you can press in like I am right now all the way. There's no gas inside. Well, what happens is when you start to fill this with your gas, with a traditional valve, the fill valve here that's in every single pistol, you still have that existing atmosphere inside. So while you add that gas in its liquefied form, it starts to fill up, but it's still competing with the actual atmosphere, the air that lives inside this magazine. The moment you start doing it, there's no way for that air to escape. So what happens is you end up with only a certain amount of gas that can go in the mags. Well, the manufacturers have been building magazines around that. So they want to go, okay, we want to make sure we get enough shots, so we're going to make sure this is big enough and the gun works around what we have here. Well, with this new system, like I said, it's a two-part system, they made a lot of changes. So first we're gonna talk about the fill valve. I'm gonna show you in a demo here. I know it's a big lead in, but this is big technology. As we go through it, what they've done. So in the fill valve itself, they've added a separate component. You can see up close here, there's a little extra hole on the side of the fill valve. Now this is what goes deep down inside this magazine. It's actually, like I showed you earlier, that silver part, it screws down in there. You have like a little tool or a flathead screwdriver sometimes, if you're careful, to get this thing in and out. Do it when the magazine is not pressurized, of course, and that is how it fills. The traditional one and the one they had in the previous versions of these magazines, and of course the magazine you're seeing on camera are from a different pistol. I'm gonna figure out which pockets I hid these things in. So I do always load up my pockets with all the stuff I'm gonna show you guys later on. These are them as part of their BM9 pistol, which is, watch this. See, look, out of every pocket. BM9, which as you guys know, is very, very common style pistol, the 92 style pistol here. So that's what we're gonna be using in this. This gun is also gonna be shipping with the valve. So here in my hands, I've got two different ones and they are running two different valve systems. The older valve system you can see in the video is silver in color. The new one is brass in color. Older is shorter, newer is longer. There's a reason to this length. So it's in combination with the length and that little tiny hole I told you there on the side you can see here that lets this system work. So with the new valve in the magazine, and these are designed for these magazines, they have the specific length, the valve goes down to a certain depth inside the magazine. That's why it's longer. There's a reason. It's gonna go to where it wants that gas to fill up. So it wants that liquefied gas to get to that certain point in the magazine. Then, in combination with that air hole you see, that allows, as you're filling, the extra air, the extra atmosphere that's already in this magazine when it's empty to escape. Also, when you're filling the magazine, as opposed to the old one where you're not gonna really know when the magazine's full, you kind of just hold it and keep holding it until okay, I think it's full, count to 10, right? Pump it a few times. The new one will actually start to spray out of the top on purpose to show you it's full. That means it's hit that point where that valve dives in there deep, and now that liquid is starting to come out and escape. So now it's hit its fill point, right? Now, this system can work on other magazines. They're gonna offer it, but every magazine has a different appropriate fill point. So there's not gonna be a one size fits all solution. You have to custom fit these. They're looking at maybe releasing that in a future release, but they will have a retrofit kit from what I understand for if you bought a previous version of like the BLE XAE pistol, you can actually retrofit your old ones and with the new system, so you have to make the investment in a new pistol. So once you have that, you've now added extra gas in the magazine. So if you look here in the video, I'm gonna show you guys something. This is the magazine. It's empty. We're gonna fill it up and we're gonna tear it. We're gonna use the scale here and do a tear, so it's 0. I'm gonna show you how much they both weigh. Adding the gas in there, gas adds weight to this magazine. So you're gonna see around in this one, it looks like we have about 6 grams of weight that are being added due to the gas that goes in the magazine. That's the old valve system. We still have that extra air in there, not allowing the magazine to reach its proper capacity, or I would say true potential, because it has been reaching proper capacity in the past. That's how they built these mags. You're gonna get a certain number of shots. Now with the new valve, we're gonna see, in this case, a 33% improvement. Now, different temperatures, you're gonna see different results, different types of gases, but in this case, we're seeing around 33%. I've seen tests that have gone over that, I've seen some tests that have gone under. But in this one, we're seeing a 33% improvement on this. So now we have that much more gas in the magazine based on the scale. I wanted to show you the differences between the two here and let you guys see that there's no funny business, nothing going on. The only difference between these two magazines is the fill valve, and of course you can see how it was filled. One sprayed out, one didn't. So now the real test. Taking these things, both of these guys, exact same pistol, doing a temperature test. We're letting them cool back down, or in this case, heat back up to the ambient temperature, so we're getting equal numbers in the test, so we're not having a cold pistol versus a hot pistol, or cold magazines versus hot magazines, and we're gonna do a shooting test. Now, speeding this thing up, if you guys wanna slow it down to make sure I didn't do any cuts, that's fine. I didn't, so speeding this thing up, pretty good number. Actually, rather impressive with this pistol here, getting over 2 full magazines. I mean, 2 and then into the third magazine before it really ran out of effective juice. Switching to the new fill valve, all we've done is change the fill valve in here to the one that will be included with this pistol. Same one you're seeing. We used the older valve in there to show you the difference. That's not one that won't be included. With this new one, we're seeing 4 magazines worth of shots before you start to lose effectiveness. And honestly, after I turned the camera off, I was able to get another 10 or 12 out before the slide wouldn't lock back anymore and it wouldn't cycle and feed the next BB and shoot hard enough. So we're seeing a huge increase. Almost the same increase in shots as we saw the percentage in gas added to the magazine in the scale. And that's why this is such big news. I wanted to show you guys this. I know it's a really long video. There's a lot going on here and I appreciate you staying to the end on this one, but that is big. One small change. Now in this pistol, just as an example, this is the production version. This isn't a sample. This is one that's coming off the factory line. You're gonna get 4 magazines, especially if you let it cool down in between or warm up in between. Ours, we just went, filled it back up, kept shooting between that. So now you have a very, I would say, efficient gun, but not really efficient. You're just you're able to fill your gas tank up all the way now. Before, you were always working with a gas tank that was a little empty, you know? And that's just the nature of airsoft. What they've done here is allowed you to finally get all the fuel in the tank that you have the room for, the proper amount. And before you couldn't do that because of the nature of the design of the system. I think it's brilliant. And not to gloss over this too, they do have a new release valve system. This one is adjustable. This one's pretty cool in its own way because you can take it apart. For service, you can clean it. And this is coming on a factory gun. This isn't an upgrade part, guys and gals. This is also included on these same magazines as part of the same system. Also because you can take it apart and maintain this using some basic pliers, real basic tools. You don't have to be a genius on this. You can also add an additional O-ring as you see here, and in the summertime where you have really hot days, where you're having trouble striking your magazines, it allows for a shorter strike on there and allowing you to use your pistol magazines in the summer when the weather gets really hot. We're talking like up in the 30s centigrade, up in the 90s Fahrenheit, depending on where you live. We're seeing like mid to high 30s. That gives you that effectiveness of being able to use your pistol. And if you guys all know, green gas at a certain temperature that hammer just won't strike well enough to make it happen. So on that, that's pretty cool. But because this valve's adjustable, you can also take it back apart, not put that extra piece in, put it back together, but also leave the back piece screwed out a little farther right here, like the part where the hammer hits. Leave it a little farther out. It gives you a longer travel distance, meaning the valve will travel longer and stay open a little bit longer and actually a little farther, lets more gas out. So now it can be more effective in cooler temperatures as well. So now, let's say the temperature drops down to the teens, the low teens. You're actually gonna have an effective gun for that time. Where maybe your green gas pistol didn't work, or maybe you had to switch from green gas to a different type of gas to make it cycle. So a lot of exciting things going on with that. You're gonna see in the alpha, you're gonna see a retrofit kit, I believe, like I said, for some of the older versions, to be able to retrofit your old ones. So don't fear not, if you bought a previous version, you should be okay. Also, you're gonna see it in this guy here, the BM9, and any of their new releases going forward. This is gonna be standard offering. So basically you're getting like some major upgrades with their pistol line up with the alpha and all that. So I don't know about you guys and gals, I'm excited about this coming in a stock gun. This is how a company really solves problems, and I love this, and that's why I wanted to share this very in-depth video with you guys and gals on this one, because it's not something I could have just talked about, something short and sweet. I really wanted to go deep in this and show you the proof, because when I saw it, I'm like, what? Like, I just saw the scale and I'm like, can I come and do the shooting test too? Because I want to see this whole thing work out. And it really was exactly like I thought it was going to be. So anyway, I want to know what you guys think. You know what I think about this. I want to hear your thoughts on this. What do you guys think ICS is doing with their system, the REVO system? It's a combination of both of these. And like I said, the release valve, the striker valve here, is going to be, I think, should be compatible with a lot of different models maybe, so you might be able to have some fun and hobby this thing out if they release it as a standalone product. The fill valve will require modification for each magazine because everyone has a specific depth, but I'm sure you smart guys and gals out there will figure that one out once they start getting dropped as well, of how to modify it and make it the right length for the right pistol mag. If you guys are that kind of geeky type, like techie kind that wants to really take advantage of some of their other brand pistols. But all in all, I think ICS has really done an amazing job. I love sharing new innovation with you all. So until next time, go out, play some airsoft, have some fun. No matter what you do, call your freaking hits.